Katie, the Pirates just coming off of a trip to Wisconsin, but before we talk about that, let's go all the way back to the start of training camp. This is our first chance to talk for the 2024 season. How did camp go? What did you like about those weeks you had with the girls?
It went great. I think it was fun and different in a good way, knowing that we had 14 returners. And so it felt like, from a coaching perspective, we were really able to dive into volleyball and just all of the work that we wanted to get done and develop on the court. Oftentimes in preseason, there's a lot of time that takes place off the court with your team as far as developing culture and expectations and teaching them, kind of who we are and what we're about. Gratefully, we didn't have to spend as much time doing that. We had good senior leadership that were able to transition the new athletes in, our 3 freshmen and 1 transfer, and everybody else has done this before, so they kind of understood and knew the expectations. So it was really fun just kind of to have a singular focus coming into preseason camp, and I thought that it went really, really well. Our girls worked really hard. They were committed, injury-free. That's always what you hope for. And we just had a really good time developing and working to get better.
You got to open the season a little bit closer to home at a tournament down in Walla Walla. Talk about what you were able to build on in that first weekend.
It was a great first weekend. So grateful that we were able to be close to home, so the travel didn't seem strenuous. We had a lot of fans and family that were able to come out and watch and support. I think the best part was we got to travel our entire team. So for our first trip away, non-conference, to have everyone together, united, was really, really beneficial. And it was a great tournament. We played 3 good opponents. 1 in our conference, 2 in our conference actually in Redlands and Santa Cruz, and then 1 outside of our region on the East Coast. So that was fun to see a team that we normally wouldn't play. And I was really pleased with how we performed. Obviously, you have a lot to work on, being that it's the first weekend, but I felt like our girls were really focused and played well together, performed well under pressure situations. So I just thought that their mindset and their toughness was where I would want it to be. And it was just a really fun weekend to kick off our season.
You talked about having the number of returnees that you do. Do you feel like that allowed you maybe to start a little bit ahead of where you normally start?
Yeah, I think so. It allowed us to kind of really push them in practices. So our practices maybe were, if you're comparing them to past seasons, a little bit tougher. We were able to push them into more uncomfortable situations. And we talked a lot about expectations and, their goals for the season. So I think they were wanting to be pushed and kind of committed to that. So I do feel like, yes, we were starting at a place ahead if we were to compare it to past years.
This past weekend in Wisconsin, you knew you were going to see some national level quality opponents. Went 3-1 against a good field. What do you take away from this weekend?
I just was really proud of our girls. I am taking away that we love to compete, that we are doing well in adverse situations, that we are resilient. And in those moments where maybe we weren't doing the things we wanted to do, I felt like we responded quickly. It's nice to see our upperclassmen or returners that had significant time last year really take on more of a leadership role on the court this year. Just that sense of calmness that comes with experience, that sense of confidence that comes with experience. You can feel that on a court. So when we're in kind of challenging situations or against really tough opponents, I felt like they did a really, really good job of staying together and kind of maintaining that consistency of the level of competition that we want to play.
What did you learn from playing a team like Wisconsin Oshkosh?
Well, I think we learned that, that level, if we're talking, I feel like there's a huge separation between even kind of like the bottom half of, say, like the top 25 teams that are ranked, and then, that elite level, the top half of 1 through 10, let's say. And that's definitely Oshkosh. And there's just such a speed difference in terms of the pace of the game. And it was really, really helpful and valuable for our girls to see that. And I feel like we're capable of playing at that speed, but because we don't see it very often, it kind of caught us off guard. And by speed, I just mean everything's a little bit faster, a little bit more explosive. They have athletes that, aren't necessarily bigger than our athletes, but they jump a little bit quicker, and their arm swings are a little bit quicker, and so the power behind the ball is a little bit, more intense. So all of those things I feel like we were able to see, and by the end of the set, I felt good about where we're at. It just took us a little bit longer to adapt to it, but that's why we wanted to go there, to play against those teams, to see, what that next level is, and continue to work towards that.
You're going to get an opportunity to see another team like that this coming weekend when you play Claremont, in addition to 2 other quality teams from California. What do you hope to be able to apply this coming weekend?
Well, I think maybe this is the first preseason, that I can recall, where, we're going kind of back-to-back weekends facing at least 2 of the similar type of opponents. So we have Claremont Mud Scribs that I would say I would put them in the same category as Oshkosh. So my hope would be we can kind of take our confidence from this last weekend and then take our experience against Oshkosh and really put that into practices this week and come in with just a lot of confidence and understanding of what it's going to take to really compete and see where we're at against a really, really good team. And other teams too, because I think all those teams are going to be really tough.